go out in our communities and teach eBay. We teach basics. We teach beyond the basics and a few other things, and we'll talk about that a little more later, because if you're a newbie, there might be somebody out there that you can actually get a hold of who can help you grow your business, and that's a good thing to know. I became a Voices member, which, if you're not familiar with what that is, that's an internal focus group in eBay, and I was invited to become a member of Voices about 2005, and I found that a very interesting experience. It has also helped me to understand how the internal things of eBay works. Anybody heard about the new feedback and DSR? No, nobody's heard about that. Well, I don't have any answers for it, so don't ask me. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I think we all are waiting to see how that happens, along with all the other changes. So I have been in business for myself for 40 years. And that means I was only 5 when I started, right? And I have had the opportunity to build a business when I was in business for myself. Back in the 1980s, when everybody was crafting, does anybody in the group know about crafting in the 1980s, when it was a really hot business and you could make a lot of money and have a lot of fun? And I had the opportunity to build a business. Would anybody like to hazard a guess on what that business was, being from Kansas?
Corn. Sewing.
How about wheat weaving?
All right.
Wheat weaving. I started in 1980 because it was a hot craft at the time in our part of the world. I built a business around that called Wheat Craft, and part of that business was designing new designs that other people could do. But the one thing that I found out was that a lot of people across the United States wanted to learn how to wheat weave. Now, if you don't have a clue what it is, I'm not going to bore you by telling you about it, except they like to do it and made money for them at the time. So I got the idea that one of the things that might be more profitable for me was to actually cut the wheat. Has anybody ever heard of a wheat binder?
Sorry.
It's a way to cut wheat where it's bound into long sheaves, and pretty good size when you see the pictures of wheat with the tops coming out and the bottoms down, and the rope or tie in the middle. And we packaged that. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I built a pretty good brand doing that in the 1980s. It became a national brand. I sold the companies the finished wheat. We packaged in like 8-ounce packages and 12-ounce packages. I also supplied a market direct sales market. I built a mailing list of people who wanted to buy in bulk, and so that they could wheat weave and make money at their craft shows. And because of that, I had a really good business. I had one little mailing list of about 200 people that made me $35,000 a year. I went out and I cut the wheat, and they paid for it in advance. They knew when I was going to cut wheat. They reserved their binder bundles. They'd pay me either by credit card, or there was no PayPal in those days. There was no eBay in those days. And I would, as soon